Yeah.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Ali's World of Finance and welcome to Stock Market Daily. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I've got a few things to talk about today, so we're going to be talking about AMD, Nintendo, Netflix, Harley Davidson, maybe some other stuff as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I do just want to mention really quick that I won't be announcing the AT&T poll question results for Ali's World Consensus. We just made a video on AT&T last video, and I asked you guys to rate it, buy, hold, sell, things like that. I'm not going to be announcing the results in this video. That'll be announced in the next video. I'm just going to give it a little more extra time. But it already has a lot of ratings, by the way. But we'll give it a little more extra time anyway. Okay, so looking at the markets here, looking at the three major indexes, the Dow Jones is down 0.25%. NASDAQ is up 0.47%, leading the three, and S&P 500 is up 0.06%. Now, some popular stocks here. Netflix is up a lot. Chipotle's down a little bit. Tesla's up. Facebook's up. Some other stocks as well. Looking at the sector performance here, we can see that the tech sector is leading the pack, up 0.54%, and then telecommunication services is at the bottom at down 0.98%. Now, looking at some of the gainers and losers here, Netflix is obviously at the top of the list here, up over 13% in just one day. That's crazy. Wynn Resorts, one of my favorite casino and resort stocks, they're up 2.85% today. Very good for them. And it looks like PayPal is up a little bit as well. And then Harley Davidson is down over 5%. And they were actually down even more than that, but I think they kind of bounced back a little bit. But we'll talk a little bit about Harley Davidson as well. Okay, so let's start by looking at Netflix. So looking at Netflix stock, they are up over 13% today. They continue to do very well. Looking at their performance here, they're green across the board, and their 5-day performance is up over 15%. So they're doing very well. So we know that we've had a lot of controversy with the FANG stocks in the tech sector lately, but looks like a lot of these stocks are reporting pretty good numbers here, and some of these stocks are doing really well. And Netflix is definitely an example of that. They're just, they did so well today. So let's look at why they did so well. So looking at their quarter two results, they basically crushed the typical seasonality that would be associated with quarter two results. And they did this by announcing amazing subscriber numbers, okay? So they had really good subscriber growth. And they actually beat their own expectations for subscriber growth by 2 million subscribers. So they were estimating that they would have around, I think it was like 3.2 million. And they actually came out and they had 5.2 million new subscribers in their quarter two results. And they're estimating that they will have another 4.4 million in quarter three, and they already have over 100 million subscribers. So basically their stock is doing really well because they're having all of these new customers coming in. Now, free cash flow is definitely always a question with Netflix, and they've said in the past that they expect to have negative free cash flow for several years. And this is because they spend a lot of money on original content that attracts new customers. And Netflix also does a lot of like advertising. They've been ramping that up. They're really trying to get ahead of some of their competition because they are experiencing some heavy competition, that's for sure. But Netflix is still performing very well. So I think that's the reason why Netflix stock went up so much, because they were able to bring in so many customers. If you can get those customers before all this other competition steals them from you, that's definitely a good thing, you know. So now they have to hold on to them, and they have to just keep building off of that. So it's very good. Now, looking at some of the well, actually, I just want to say one more thing. So Jim Cramer actually kind of said something very similar to what I'm saying, but a lot of analysts and investors tend to be scared of Netflix because of this, because of the negative, because of the way that they operate and things like that. But Jim Cramer actually went ahead and said that investors and analysts are starting to accept the way that Netflix operates, and that is to have a strategy for growth that will lead to positive momentum. Okay, so it's mostly a growth type of stock, and so a lot of analysts and investors are starting to become accustomed to that. Now, looking at some analyst ratings here, Cohen raised their price target to 197, and Merrill Lynch raised their price target to 199. And their analyst, Nat Schindler, actually said that he can see a bull case for the stock reaching 300. So that's very high. And Rosenblatt raised their price target to 200. So just some really positive news for Netflix. And obviously the stock took off. I wish I would have invested in Netflix earlier. Right now the stock is pretty high for me. So I don't know if I'll be investing in it. And I have so much money tied up in other stocks anyway. But I do still really like Netflix. And I'm definitely bullish on Netflix as well. Okay, looking at Harley Davidson, let's take a look at their stocks. So they're down over 5%, getting close to 6%. They're down, but in today, but they were down actually a lot more earlier. So in the morning trading, they were down over 10%, and for the year they were down over 20%. But they did kind of bounce back a little bit today. But when looking at why their stock dropped, they announced that they expect deliveries for the year to decline around 6 to 8%. And originally they expected that number to just be kind of flat. But now it's looking like a 6 to 8% decline, so that's not good. And then they announced their Q2 results, and global sales were down 7%. And when looking at their US sales, those were down 9%. So that's really not good. And they did announce that their profits only dipped around 1%, only dropped around 1%, and that was because of cost cutting. But they talked about future cost cutting, and they're saying that they're going to have to do some more, and they will probably be cutting jobs, and they will probably be cutting production as well. So when looking at it here, they didn't announce how many jobs might be cut, but we know that they have around 5,400 workers in the motorcycle division, and around half of those are unionized hourly workers. So it's not going to be good, guys. So I don't know what you guys think about Harley Davidson, but I'm definitely not touching them. I'm not investing in Harley Davidson, and there's plenty of other stocks that I like more anyway. So, okay, looking at Nintendo, I want to talk about Nintendo for a little bit, ticker symbol NTDOY, and I just want to talk about them for a second because their stock is finally reflecting some good news here. We've been having more and more good news, and it looks like it's finally reflecting it. We had the recent news that WWE 2K18 was going to be coming out for the Nintendo Switch, which was really good news because we're trying to get more third-party support. And there's just been other good news as well, and we're going to talk a little bit about it here, and we're going to talk about the sales for Splatoon 2 and things like that. But some of the bad news that's been going on with Nintendo that's kind of been hurting the stock and causing a little bit of a dip recently is that there's been a lot of shortages with the Nintendo Switch. Okay, so we've known that there's been some shortages, and the Nintendo Switch is sold out everywhere, so people can't get the product, and it's in huge demand. So a lot of people are afraid about the upcoming earnings report for Q2 because we're not really sure what to expect, because a lot of the quarter the product was sold out and a lot of people wanted to get it, couldn't really get it. Now when looking at it here, and I've been trying to do some research on this, but it seems like a lot of people are split on this. A lot of people say that it doesn't really matter, the product has been selling out, it's going to beat expectations, while a lot of other people are saying no, there's no way, there's absolutely shortages going on, and this is going to really hurt their numbers, and they're not going to meet expectations. So some people are very bullish on the upcoming earnings report, some people are very negative on it. I'm not sure what to expect, guys. So Nintendo is my biggest stock, and I don't really know what to expect at the moment. I'm trying to research it more, I'm trying to find any kind of clues to what might happen in the earnings report, because if it is going to dip a lot on the earnings report, then I would love to sell my Nintendo stock right now and then pick it up on a dip, and that would be even better, and I would just throw all my money right back into it because I'm still very bullish on it long term. But that's kind of a risky gamble, because if the earnings report comes out and they actually did perform pretty well, or they give some excellent guidance and people go crazy over it, then and the stock just kind of continues to skyrocket, and I sold on it, then I lose some profit there. So there's some questions there. But anyway, I just want to talk about Nintendo because today they finally kind of bounced back out of this little dip that they've been having, up over 3% today. Very good. They're still not near their 50. They're still not close to their 52-week high. They're getting there, but nice little bounce back today. And when looking at Nintendo here, so Ubisoft had an investors call today, and they discussed upcoming Nintendo Switch games, and they said that they will announce new Switch games, and this is quoting them, they said quite soon. So this is really good. This is more third-party support, and we know that Ubisoft has already announced Mario plus Rabbids and the Rayman game and the Steep game, so just more third-party support is really good. Now, if I was to predict what kind of games they're going to announce, I'm not really sure. Maybe Assassin's Creed, maybe some kind of South Park game, maybe something new, I'm not sure. But we'll have to wait and see, and they say quite soon, so hopefully soon here. Now, looking at Splatoon 2 sales, Splatoon 2 will be, I think it comes out on the 21st, but when looking at their sales on Amazon, they're number one currently, and they reached the number one position in video games, and they beat the PSN cards, which is just absolutely amazing, because, these PSN cards, PlayStation Network cards, they're kind of like gift cards. A lot of people buy them for their PlayStation Network accounts because they don't want to put their information into PlayStation Network, because I guess there was some hack and a lot of people's information got stolen. So those always sell like number one in video games. and Splatoon 2 actually beat them. Okay, so this is really good news for Splatoon 2, and it looks like finally some of this good news is being reflected in the stock, up over 3% today. Okay, last thing that I want to talk about is AMD. So I just want to talk about AMD today because they dropped a little bit, dropped over 2%. They were actually down even more today. I think they were down over 3% today, but they kind of bounced back a little bit. But when looking at it here, why did they have a little bit of a drop? So Barclays downgraded AMD from equal weight to underweight, and they gave a price target of $9. I think that's ridiculous. Like I said, I'm still super bullish on AMD, and my price target is more like $20 going into the end of the year, going into next year. I would say around $20, but they gave it a price target of $9, and they basically said that AMD products will not achieve enough traction to merit the stock's current valuation, and that they see limited upsides from AMD's EPYC, their data center, the stuff that they're doing in the data center, and they also cited better performance from Intel products. Now, they also mentioned that cryptocurrency will not benefit AMD in the long term, and later on in the day, AMD actually responded in a statement to CNBC, and this is what they said. So quoting them, they said, "We are confident in the performance and value we are delivering to the server market with EPYC." I absolutely agree with them. And then they said, as well as our long-term roadmap. Again, I agree with them. That's exactly how I feel. And then they said, moreover, our customers and the ecosystem are excited about the return of competition. Okay, it's key, competition. Okay, so keep that in mind. Return of competition to the data center, as demonstrated by the strong show of support at our launch event less than 30 days ago. The key thing here, like I said, is competition, because there hasn't been this type of competition in a lot of these areas that AMD is now competing in finally, even with the high-end CPUs and what they're doing with the high-end GPUs and the data center. Intel has basically been pricing their stuff at whatever they want. Now there's competition. I'm telling you guys, people want this. People want the competition, and they're going to be rooting for AMD, and so that's why I'm bullish on AMD. So anyway, just my opinion. Okay, guys, I think that's about it for today. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you are new, please subscribe. If you like the video, please hit the like button. That really means a lot to me. And if you watch the video all the way through to this very moment in time, then I'm gonna say that you're definitely not Harley Davidson. I'm gonna say you guys gotta be Netflix. You guys are like original content for Netflix. You guys are just making Netflix take off, and you're making my channel take off, even though my numbers aren't that good lately. Like, my subscriber count is kind of low, but it'll take off eventually. I don't care. I do this for fun anyway. It's not about the money. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you all have a wonderful, beautiful day, and that you take care.